Well,
Right.
how nice to be here talking with you. I'm with Mr. Karidis, who is a brilliant surgeon, and you also do non-surgical procedures as well, don't you?
Indeed.
So the first thing I wanted to ask is, why do surgeons such as yourself also offer non-surgical procedures in your work?
Well, the thing is this, that surgery will certainly help a large number of people. However, there are many things that surgery simply can't do as effectively. And as surgeons, we all have big egos. We think surgery is the end-all, be-all. But I think you have to be honest with yourself and say, listen, surgery will take us so far.
Yeah.
After that point, something else takes over. And I think people probably should think of surgery and non-surgical as two lines that are running parallel. But eventually, they get to a point where they're actually crossing and they're mingling between themselves.
Yes.
Because that's the way to look at it. They all sort of help each other.
It's not an either-or, is it?
No, it's not an either-or. No, absolutely.
If you're restructuring the face for surgery, you can still work
absolutely.
on the
and I always tell
volume.
Exactly. I think of it as this way. You do the basic groundwork with the surgery, and then if you like, the decorating is done through maybe non-surgical means, through injectables, fillers, maybe energy devices, lasers, various things, because there's different elements to the face. There's the skin, the muscle, the fat, and you have to dress them all differently.
Yeah.
So, and I think being a surgeon, I think we're primarily a surgical clinic. We're well based in order to be able to offer patients fairly objective, advice. Okay. In other words, saying, listen, this is better suited with surgery, or this is better suited with non-surgical, or maybe try non-surgical first, and then maybe eventually get to the surgical. As opposed to maybe a clinic who only has maybe one offering, one non-surgical offering, they don't want to necessarily offer the surgical alternative, when in fact that might be.
No, you've got this whole suite of things that you could.
I think it's advantageous for the patient. The patient benefits from that point of view.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
What was one of the other things I wanted to ask? My mind has completely gone empty. What was the next thing I wanted to talk about was.
Was it non-surgical?
Well, it was also I also wanted to ask about what kind of things are particularly popular just now. I know popularity isn't everything, but what you're maybe seeing more of, what people are asking for.
I think the things more popular are what's been in the press recently.
Okay.
And that varies,
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people talk about breasts, some people talk about faces. Somebody's had a famous facelift or a famous boob job, in which case it's in people's attention at that particular time. Yeah, and in which case they It's not as if that news story has actually made them think about it. They've always thought about it, but just brings it to the forefront.
But it prompts their curiosity.
Exactly.
Okay. And another thing I know I wanted to ask about was non-surgical rhinoplasty versus a surgical one. What's your view on that?
This is the thing. Fillers have really revolutionized our approach to noses. In what respect, though? I think we have to be clear about this. Yes, you can do what we call a non-surgical rhinoplasty using fillers. So, just to be clear, what it does, if you have a very large nose, a filler will not make it smaller. Okay? No. What it does, it actually disguises any imperfections. So, for example, if you have a big hump on the nose, okay, a lower point, then it goes into a hump and goes down, and you want to make it look straight, what you do is you elevate with a bit of filler the depressed segment of that profile. Yeah. And maybe elevate the other side so it makes it look a little bit straighter. But effectively, you haven't made it smaller, you made it bigger effectively because you're actually adding more.
But you're playing with the proportions,
exactly. No, you're playing with the shape of it. That's
playing with the shape. Okay.
The proportions will probably still be a little bit larger because you're adding volume, right? Yeah. But you're just trying to make it a little bit, tweak it a little bit. Okay. But I think for me as a surgeon, where it's really made a big difference is in post-rhinoplasty. Okay. The reason is this. Most operations involve nasal operations go very well. However, there's always maybe 2 to 3% where they get slight irregularities, little imperfections, little indents that appear post-surgical. Yeah. So we're talking about maybe 9 to 12 months later, which traditionally in the past could only be addressed through more surgery. Sure. However, now, if you have a slight little dip in there, you just put a touch of filler in, and within 2 minutes, the patient's out of your door,
Lovely.
the problem is corrected, and they don't need surgery.
And they're really happy.
And they're really happy.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it doesn't cost them anything as well,
Yeah,
because,
yeah, yeah.
compared to surgery.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
from my point of view, as a rhinoplasty surgeon as well, it really has made a big difference.
Yeah.
You know?
Just to be able to
Just to tweak it.
address those
Yeah, they say,
tiny
oh, I
bits,
got a little dip. Oh, no worries, get on the couch. We'll sort it out for you.
Okay.
Whereas before we said, oh, we have to have surgery again, we have to have an anesthetic again.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
So
There
it's
you
made a big
go.
difference.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other things you wanted to, any other sort of topics you'd want to raise or things you want to talk about while we've
Yeah, I mean,
got
yeah, of course.
cameraman to grand
The
job.
holding position, they're good.
Yeah,
I'm
Well,
a
no.
bit shaky.
that's fine. You can move
Brace
it
yourself a
around.
little bit,
It's
yeah.
fine. You see
Okay,
how
fine.
the things are. It's all quite rough and ready.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're always non-surgical sort of devices and things which really work well to
Yes.
to help people, because not everybody's prepared for surgery or wants surgery in the beginning,
Yeah.
and you have to have alternatives for them. And that this involves a number of different options, whether that's energy devices,
Yeah.
lasers, fillers, Botox, these kind of things, all play a role, and they really help patients who, I think people are more mindful of the aging process now,
Okay.
and I think they're coming to our clinic younger, and that's good for us because we catch them early on.
Sure.
Because I firmly believe, if you actually address a lot of these issues before they become more obvious, you're probably delaying the need for surgery.
Okay. So
I really
what
do think so.
age are patients first?
Oh, they come in their sort of mid-30s now.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And just because they come in mid-30s doesn't mean they're having facelifts, they're not.
Just to
They're-
say.
yeah, they're having maybe little
what
tweaks
should I
and
be
adjustments.
thinking
Yeah,
about?
exactly. We
Okay.
start with skincare first for a start.
Okay.
Obviously, education.
Brilliant.
That's the other important thing, because
Yeah.
people don't realize, the
Yes.
sun, various substances, smoking, all
Yes.
those things don't
Yeah,
help.
yeah, yeah.
So we educate them. We get them on board in terms of skincare, skin hygiene. All that's very important, because
Yeah.
I tell people it's like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym once. It's an ongoing thing.
Ongoing-
It's an ongoing
ongoing
thing.
process,
It's skin
yeah.
fitness, I say.
Okay.
Skin fitness is what you need.
Great idea. Yeah.
And then, of course, when you have them on board, they feel comfortable with the advice that we give them. We then, obviously, one thing may lead to another. They may want to have a little bit of a line appear later on, frown line or wrinkle.
Yeah.
They might need addressing there. And then, in due course, over the number of years, maybe they will require some facial surgery.
But they'll come back and ask as and when.
Exactly,
Yeah. No,
exactly.
great. So you're starting off that relationship that they can then
I think it's very important,
come and really
absolutely.
do something.
So this is why I don't regard it non-surgical. They're intertwined. They really are intertwined.
Terrific. Lovely. Thank you.
Great
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. That's fab. Everything I can think to ask of. That's
Yeah,
about
no, that's it.
surely at least 4 videos worth.
Absolutely,
Because I do such
absolutely. No,
little
it's
short ones.